So we are back with Sirius B2. So there's two points of origins or DNA signature groups that come out of the one point of origin called Sirius B. And in the previous video, it was about the Sirius B1s who are completely connected to the whale totem or whale medicine. Then you have the Sirius B2. So you can refer back to that video, and I'm going to really try my hardest to just stick to the read. But it's very exciting because there's a lot of similarities within every point of origin. So again, just to reiterate, when it comes to the earthly races here, the root races, they call them, whether you're, of African descent or Caucasian descent or Lemurian descent. And people might be like, you have to break down Lemurian, descent. Look up Lemuria or MU, M as in Mary, U, the letter U, Mu, these ancient continents from the Pacific Ocean. And that continent went down, but on either side of the Pacific, you have from Guatemala to Guatemala, the descendants of Lemuria. Okay, so when you go into all these races and or cultures within the races, the ethnic groups, however you want to phrase it, you will see the intergalactic, interdimensional, true point of origin. So there's purpose in whatever race. Like if you're coming in with African descent, the purpose that you have is derived out of going inward. It's derived, cultivated, developed out of restriction. Restriction is not your punishment. It is actually your superpower. But you just have to know that. And I brainwashed generation after generation to think that because you have a melanated complexion that you must be, not even fully human. According to the United States, there was a time where we were considered, 2% human of 70%? Some dumb shit. Some ignorant, primitive Neanderthal bullshit. Okay? I'm so glad we're light years away from that mentality. But there's still, there's still residuals. People will be like, residuals? The amount of racism on this planet look like it's cooking back up again. Actually, look like it's cooking back up again. Well, there's a major detox on the planet, so yeah, maybe racism does feel like it's cooking back up, and or maybe it was always the same, just had to be put aside, or you might get punched in your fucking face if people felt that racism was real and they had the opportunity to tear your ass up. So people are a little bit more cautious about that N-word flying out the mouth. And anyway, in Zion, people, species, it's just like the transcendent energy. And that is a key word when it comes to Sirius B2, transcendence. Let's bring it on back. I'm going to try and stick to that read, because racism is like an infection. It's been a pandemic as far as I'm concerned. It's part of what makes us mortal. It's what ages us. It takes away a good 10 to 20 good summers you could have had. But your ass is leaving now because your ass was racist. You could have had 20 more good summers, but you thought being racist was okay. All right. So anyway, whether it's Bon Jovi, hey, I love Bon Jovi. When he sings Living on a Prayer, I'm Gen X, so that was a huge hit. That was part of, the soundtrack of my youth, and an opportunity to just do the happy Carlton dance and cut the fool and be happy and really enjoy myself. So when that song was on, I was, in the middle of the living room dancing my ass off. And that's the impact of John Bon Jovi, who is from Sirius B2. Blessings. You can feel the vibes. I like the vibes of, some people might be like, I don't know, you ain't never met him before you talk about, I like John Bon Jovi, he's a pudding cup. No, he's not. I don't know that. The vibe I'm getting from him is good. The vibe I get from Tyrese I like it. It's good. The vibe I get from Susan L. Taylor, and also crossing paths with her and giving thanks for the monthly downloads she would channel out in an article at the end of the Essence magazine. All of us who are Essence magazine folks, we know to turn to the back of that book, go turn the pages, get to the back of the book, and look for what's called In the Spirit. And she was always on point. I'm not going to play this too long because I don't want to be copywritten, and I really want to just make a point. But this gentleman, let me use my wand, Sirius B2. And this is about prayer. This is talking about prayer and speaking it in. And his voice. And then when you hear the warmth of Tyrese's voice and of John Bon Jovi, I know that's right. You better get it. See, I have to give thanks to Sirius B2. That's the dolphin medicine. That is the meditation totem. And in Mali, in Africa, the country Mali, there's the tribe, very famous tribe, the Dogon tribe. And they know they had interacted in ancient times and kept the doctrine when amphibious beings were here. Now, how they get here? Shoot, I should do my research and talk about it. Put that on the long list of shit I can't wait to get into. Gobbling up the truth. Because I don't know what we were educated or indoctrinated, injected with coming up, but clearly something was going, because, you know, what information, the more to the story, the quote unquote more to the story is what you're going to get on this channel and a lot of channels, countless channels. The more to the story, as we are in the age of Aquarius-Capricorn, you will get the more to the story. This is the age of revelations. This is the language of God and all gods. Revelations. That's the language. The Most High speaks in revelations. You know, some people speak Spanish, some people speak revelations, some people speak dyslexia. I know that's me. Anyway, so from this gentleman, from this song this year, Blessings, I'm not sure of his name directly, either as Victor Thomas or this other gentleman's name, who I'm going to destroy the name. As far as this gentleman right here that's co-singing with him, I'm going to find out his DNA as well. Let's not leave him out. Let's not leave anybody out. We're going to get into it, but let me focus in on this. And you can go to the website, and from the website, you know, Tanya, the Brooklyn Medium, you can Google that and go under our work. Okay. And when you do that, you can click down here. I don't have all of the DNA groups because it's going to take forever to find them all, which is fine with me. I choose to be immortal, right? And later on, when I talk about the Ark of the Covenant and provide the blueprints of the Ark, you know, I'll explain just how I plan to just stay immortal. This is a whole new physics on this planet. So here you have Sirius B, Susan L. Taylor, Sarah Jessica Parker. Okay, maybe some more people you recognize. Okay. Contribution, they all have aquatic DNA. So like I said, this is the dolphin. Dolphin B, Sirius B2. Wait a minute. As far as how the Dogons saw these beings, they saw them as amphibians or aquatic, humanoid, I think. So that's very powerful to really contemplate. That's like a doorway. Open that doorway and find out. So what did they look like? Where were they? How did they get here? and was able to communicate with these beings who were in Africa at the time, recording all of this and still holding it up in worship and ritual and day-to-day life. Okay, so it says Sirius B2 are connected to the dolphin totem, which is meditation required to access the Akashic records. So here are the attributions or the contributions to the potluck of the human experience. Deep breathing, for sure. That's dolphin. Okay, so deep breathing, it's very calming, it's very necessary. If there's any reason whatsoever of you having anxiety, whether it's the city you're living in, it's a detox personally in your life as well on the planet. So sometimes you're going to feel this anxious feeling because heaven, the kingdom of heaven has arrived and is here on the earth, and so is Dante's Inferno. You must have a balance of both. So staying in heaven on earth, you might feel a little bit more calm, or you might be like, I have never felt heaven before, so this feels weird. When's the floor going to drop underneath me? No, don't look at it like that. Deep breathing. Get rid of any of that. Prayer. Now, prayer is different. I know y'all know that I'm going to see it differently now. Okay? I go straight to the mansion of God, Zion, and speak straight to Yeshua. And it's not about asking Yeshua, who has now received the throne because Father God kept his word. So I'm not asking Father Yeshua, or Wrath is also what he's called right now, what he could do for me. It's what can I do for you? What can I do for the people? What can I do for existence? What can I do for creation? Ain't no way I'm going to take that crucifixion in vain. Ain't no way I'm going to take Yahshua's suffrage in vain. He says you can do what I can do and more. Okay? So prayer is serious. Meditation is serious. When you meditate, astral project, but do it carefully. Do you have guides to protect you? Everything you do in the spiritual realm, you must be learned, and you must be protected, and you must be responsible. You can't be wanton and perverse, and that's a one-way ticket to hell, the new hell. I'm not talking about Dante's Inferno. That's on earth now. I'm talking about the new hell, the VIP of hell, because you can't have the VIP of the heavens without the VIP of hell, right? So you have Zion, as per prophecy, that's popping. And then you have the real VIP, the new hell. Moloch and Lilith, those two demons, the Adam and Eve of the new hell. Outside of 3D. Thank God. Get them out of here. Anyway, so the dolphin totem or meditation, directly connected, and possibly, they were part dolphin, part human. The Dogons they knew this before I got a hold of this and sketched it out. You can Google it. Sketched it out. They had fins, aquatic DNA. It says deep breathing, also a being of light. So in parentheses, it says the human experience can be difficult here, because you're easily drained of your light. So the need to have solace, we're going to get into these crown cards. The need to have solace is very important. I'm constantly seeing like being by yourself. This is the Sacred Forest Oracle. Is really nice. I like to use this Oracle when I deal with DNA. But you see you have the warlock or the wizard, the architect, the magi, whether you're of male or female anatomy. And if there's too much, cacophony and weirdness and craziness and loudness around you, it's very hard to see the way forward, to meditate and quiet oneself, to go forward. It's interesting because we are still in Gemini. We're exiting Gemini. We're going into Cancer season. But Gemini season, you can put it, there's many amazing attributes of Gemini, but what is coming up most importantly is choices. Our choices. So that aspect of choices is important. And then as you go into the Cancer season, how is that choice going to resonate? Like, was that choice out of fear? When you get into the Cancer season, the choices that's come up, which one is out of fear and which one is out of faith? Like, I know everything is good. Come on. I know everything is good. So why am I nervous? Why am I anxious? Because I'm starting something fresh and new. Okay, butterflies in the stomach is, excitement, adventure, the unknown, starting a new cycle. That's fine. But suppose you started the cycle and you're still anxious. Some people may need the aid of certain medications because maybe they just need that extra support from a medical professional that's not shady, okay? But there's also natural remedies that should be investigated and carefully with expert guidance. There's crystals that help with anxiety. That anxiety thing is coming up strong. I know in Gemini season, we're dealing with like Mercury as the ruler of Gemini. So whether you're Gemini or not, you're going to have maybe some anxious energies and things like that. Just jitters because, it's an air sign. It's intellectual. You can get too much in your head and get nervous. Gemini also rules the nervous system. But right now in the Gemini season, right now in this moment, this is June 16th that I'm recording this. In divine order, I'm explaining anxiety. I'm addressing that. Deep breathing. What are you deficient in? When you go to your doctor, you go to your physician and you do the blood work, what are you deficient in? Because there's deficiencies that will contribute to anxiety. So make sure all of those things are taken care of. How is your home environment? We are a product of our environment. So how is your environment? Is it conducive to peace? Are you blessing it with like if you go into a Catholic church, okay, there are tools, natural tools on the planet that will allow you to clear and cleanse out anything that can be mucky, anything that could, just really bog down your energy and not give you the clarity that you need, okay? And as beings, you may say aquatic DNA, and in the human experience is one thing, but on Sirius B2, I haven't been there. Maybe I can astral project one day and figure it out, but it's saying that it's coming up that you are beings of light and thus easily drained of your light. So even though I heard that Sirius B is extremely dense, there's frequencies within every star and every planet. There's dimensions, there's all kinds of shit going on in every planet, Middle Earth, regular Earth. There's all types of alternate Earth. There's so much, it's limitless, okay? So in Sirius B, even if you're aquatic DNA, there's something about it that you're very light, is very bright energy, is more of light. I'm not hearing sound, I'm hearing light. So if you're vibrating at a certain point when you're in the earthly human experience, it can be no joke. And if you are Sirius B and you have a certain amount of melanin due to the earthly race that you are in, dealing with restriction. Now, if you're coming through in a Caucasian ethnic group, then it's about going outward. So if you were to apply quickly off the top of your head, the major arcana tarot cards, the 21 would be if you are in the Caucasian heritage. I was about to say inheritance. And then if you are in the African descendant, inheritance. It's about going inward. So you have restriction to make you go in. Okay? If you were grounded, you opened up that book and read the book, or you went in or something like that, you wasn't outside, woohoo, whoop-de-woo. I was grounded a lot. Not that I was wilding out. It's just that, in the West Indian, mean-spirited household, you can burp wrong and you are grounded. You are rude. Anyway, so I got a chance to study, clearly, right? Cool. Anyway, if you are in those polarities of Caucasian inheritance or African descent inheritance or the Lemurian inheritance. And that Lemurian inheritance, that's important because that is the balancing energies of the two polarities of going outward, the world card, and going inward. Oh, stop it. I hear Tupac. He said the N-word. Anyway, Tupac crashes. A lot of my ancestors will talk to me. They're not really crashing anything, but Tupac is like, no, I'm gonna crash this upload. Okay. Anyway, so you have, the hangman for Pac is like, exactly, the hangman. This swinging from the gallows. You have the hangman card, okay? And then you have the major arcana, right? Okay, when you're in Zion, you can laugh about these things. On Earth, people are like, I don't find this shit funny, all right? All the melanin I got me restricted. That shit is no joke. Yeah, it's no joke. As a medium, if I were to, like, what do you call it? Like an astral projection. Like I wanted to feel what it felt like. I am of African descent, but I wanted to feel what it felt like if I had really, really strong melanin. And when I felt it, it was, whoo! Have some mercy on us on this planet. To carry melanin is no joke. It has its benefits, but it is a heavy substance. I'm dead ass with that. Then I channeled into, like, let's just say a body from Sweden, and it felt so free. No restrictions. The melanin is in my soft organs. Everybody has melanin. But when you're majoring in it, is no joke. And when you're majoring and not having to have it, there is a liberation. There is a freedom. If you're coming out of the Caucasian ethnic groups and relish in your fucking freedom, y'all. To be able to walk with a light step, to be silver surfers, to herald whatever we got going on. You bring it further. This is the balance of the polarities. If everybody knew that and lived that, loved that, cherished that balance, and then knew where we were from off-world, Earth would be a cornucopia. Not this hot, stinking ass mess. I hear John Witherspoon. Hey, John. And then, we need those two polarities balanced. What's going on, Lemurian descendants? What you doing? Come on. You're supposed to be Christ consciousness. What you doing? Don't close your heart off from us. From yourself. From others. It's safe. This call on Zion to protect you, to keep your heart right. We need your Christ consciousness. We need the Buddha energy to balance two strong polarities. We need Christ consciousness. And this is the Lemurian descendants, whether you're from Peru, okay, or you from Japan, okay? Very important. We need your heart balanced in order for us to be balanced. Because it can just get extreme, can't it? Right? Okay. So I was supposed to stick to the plan, but I did not. It's 24 minutes in, y'all. Let's see. It's a Monday. Busy, crazy schedule. So it says easily drained of your light. So having time to replenish and regroup is crucial. Spiritual burp. And then consuming a well-balanced meat protein diet is highly recommended if you have spiritual burp. O blood type. So if you have the universal blood type of O negative, whatever, Um, of course, with your physician and with your own intuition and you knowing your own physicality. A lot of times going vegetarian when you have the O blood type might not do well for you. It could exacerbate certain issues in the body, not give you the grounding that you need, but as long as it's well balanced and everything in a balanced state, okay? And parentheses, I have always consult a trustworthy healthcare professional for top quality healthcare, period. Not the healthcare professionals who are not really professional, they're taking bribes to do some really grimy and corrupt shit in the medical profession right now. There's a detox in everything. Anywhere there's a system, a health system, a judicial system, educational system, there's corruption. And trust me, it's coming to the surface to be dealt with. Not just coming to the surface, to be dealt with, right? Okay. The next thing is ESP. So it's very psychic. Just it makes sense whether it's the dolphin or the whale, which is the Akashic records, and how you get to the Akashic records is through the dolphin meditation. A great deal of psychic energy. Biggie was Nostradamus. I don't think I finished that thought in the previous with Series B1, but I know Nas called himself Nostradamus or whatever, dyslexia. But that's one of Biggie's lifetimes, Christopher Wallace's previous lifetimes, Nostradamus. So I have a massive collection of quatrains, Biggie style though, not the Nostradamus previous lifetime style. That eventually I will be revealing as per needed in the right timing. And that's important. Timing, that card comes up for Series B2. It's all about divine timing for your opportunities. Okay? But let's get through this on the website first, and then you can refer back to it on the website. It says high honor. So yeah, of course, you guys are the parental DNA, signature group. Your point of origin is very parental and protective of the human race. So you're going to be like that in real time. Okay, whether it's of the whale or the dolphin majors, either way, you're there to protect and guide and nourish. But you have to parent yourself. So high honor is one of the aspects or attributes you bring to the potluck table. And so is the need to parent oneself. And I remember reading about this, and Susan L. Taylor, she was talking about, our parents could do only what they could do. Seriously, like for real. And that usually has attributes to shallow breathing if you had any kind of issues with your mom. Not necessarily like your mom was a bad person, but maybe some illness befell your mom, or maybe I just didn't have a good synergy. And there's issues still to this day. So deep breathing might be an issue when it comes to, what I'm saying? So parent yourself. Our mothers up until a certain time, but you can mother yourself, you can father yourself, and you're doing it already. But to be even more conscientious of that, I really appreciate that aspect. That stays with me. Ever since I read that decades ago from Susan L. Taylor, I've been using that whenever I can. Sometimes I fall off from self-care and then I get back on. Okay, it's just life. So parenting yourself is important. Careers and working with children, the autism spectrum will do very, very well for you. You guys are already in that career. If I'm mentioning this, that means there's a sturdy number of human beings with that DNA point of origin or DNA signature group that is already in careers of working with children with autism spectrum, or you may even have the autism spectrum, or you have ways of learning more about autism spectrum and unlocking the mystery behind it, working on that, how to help with treatments when it's severe. The autism spectrum, there's no joke. The people, children, adults who are autistic, anybody on that spectrum that went to Zion, they are ahead of the game. In Zion, where people are like really still getting the whole idea that, that physics of Zion, you don't, there's no urinating, there's no bowel movements, there's no hunger, there's no disease. It's a different physics there. So how you can manifest is because it's so dense here, it's harder to manifest. But there, it's very easy. But your consciousness is still remembering a time where it was like a miracle that only Yeshua, only avatars can do miracles. No, over there, everybody's avatar. So the autism spectrum children and adults who've gone over, they are showing like, you can walk on water like this. And they're just walking on that water like an incredible, running across the water, okay? So Autism Spectrum Plus, as I continue to decode ancient tablets, I was told, and this is like a carrot to dangle in front of me. I don't really need that because I'm always going to be motivated for new discoveries. But more and more ancient relics are going to specify or really go into the whole reason why autism spectrum is here in the first place. I do feel like there's some negative reason behind it, but that it's transmuted into something amazing and positive. Because guess what? Wrath or Father God, runting. Let me say that again. The Most High, runting. So let's just say autism spectrum was just thrown in the mix for maybe population control. Let's just say, hypothetically, God is just like, whatever, I'm going to use it for this, that, and the third. Okay, moving right along. Okay, so the next, it says, I'll put plasters. I'm going to have to change that. Let me go back in there. I thought I checked all of the, that's funny. Maybe I'll keep it there, but it's supposed to be pastors and ministers. It says plaster. Well, maybe that's what us ministers and pastors are. We're here to plaster some stuff until you're ready to fix it, be fixed, and go on about, or fix yourself. Do you need a church? A congregation? Where corruption can easily permeate. Corruption is thirst to permeate any kind of congregation. Right? So if you knew how, because Yeshua paid that price so that you do know how, or just you can figure it out, to take care of your own self. God, can you do this, that, and the third? Can you do this, that, and the third? It's a whole new physics. The Father God we've known has given over the throne, kept his word. This Father God is this Father, not all fathers are the same. This Father is different. What you can do. You over here praying and carrying on the time and the energy you took to prayer, you for prayer. You can go ahead and do it. You can figure it out. Ask me how. Ask the angels for assistance. Ask your ancestors. Ask the spirit guides, the spirit fan. Ask Zion, yo Zion, can you avenge me? Prayers like that, for protection and for guidance, for clarity. But you putting in that work. You putting in those miracles. You spinning the ethers with a mighty thought through your consciousness. That's how Yeshua was able to do those miracles. Spinning the ethers with a mighty thought. So how mighty a thought can you use to spin the ethers for what you want? Be focused. To transcend. When you spin the ethers with a mighty thought, if you were this, you become this. Strength. This is the strength card, the ancient Sumerian tablet that depicts the strength card, but in full, the fullest story. Because this is this antagonist and the protagonist. This antagonist is why the strength card is even necessary in the first place. You need purpose, y'all. It can't just be perfect. You got to have the imperfections. And even here, you're not perfect. Okay? But focus with a mighty thought. And there's nothing you can't do. You'll make it work. Like when Smokey was told by his mom to go get him a pack of smokes in the movie Friday. He was like, you only gave me $1? And she was like, make it enough. This is what I'm talking about. Make it enough. Let me cover this. You see that? All you see is her. This is what I'm talking about. Strength and protection. Look at the protection is The Lion of Judah, Zion. A lion is going to roar, right? The lion is going to roar. Big up to all the Leos. You're going to roar when you need to roar, okay? It says make it work. You have all the tools you need to succeed, but you have to put in the effort. You excel at working with your hands and at fixing problems. So plaster, yeah, I'm gonna keep plaster up there on the website. You have plaster. But what is your ministry? What are you offering? What are you offering? You know, what's your talents? What's your purpose? What fulfills you? Find something that does. Maybe ask for that. That's prayer. That's prayer. Yo, let me get a confirmation, please. Is somebody, grandma on the other side, can you please confirm? Can you please send, some serendipitousness, some some synchronicities for me so that I can really understand what the hell I need to be doing in a bold, grandiose way, and even a little bit of, little day to day. Like, I need a confirmation about something. You know what I'm saying? You get your confirmation. Y'all get confirmation whether you ask for it or not, whether you see it or not. It also says architects, and this is important because whatever you build must be on solid and sacred ground. Solid and sacred ground for it to last the test of time. That's why the pyramids are still existing, because the ground was blessed. They used a plumb line, the Magi used the plumb line to measure out the primordial point in the sky, the Orion's belt. They did everything that they needed. It was solid. It was the perfect location to put pyramids or tetrahedrons, put a sacred geometry that reverberated strong for at least 1,000 years. The impact of those pyramids and all those dynasties. The most powerful nation, maybe rivaling the Hittites, but top of top, especially when it was a famine during the time of Joseph, he made Egypt pop. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, so the next thing is, just remember, build on solid and sacred ground. And so whatever you're building, or if you moved into a home, keep your ground solid, sacred, and blessed. So that in your home, that's your fort, is blessed, is sacred, it's your sanctum. And from there you can build. There's people who want to get things in an ill-gotten way. They want to build things slipshod and half-ass and cheat themselves, and then it crumbles. But for Sirius B2, that is not an option. Take your time, breathe, stay on the course, build brick by brick, use perfection, use mathematics, no shortcuts. Unless the shortcut is proven to be safe, okay? Okay, so next is singers, definitely. We started out with music. The singing voice is very nice. If that is the purpose of a Sirius B2 and you're supposed to be singing, go ahead. Whether it's in the public's eye or if it's, just for your family, for yourself. It's very healing. The aspect of just around the corner. So you guys can feel it when something is about to present itself because it's just around the corner. That's one of the aspects that you bring to the human experience. Extremely fortunate is another aspect that you bring to the human experience. I'm grateful for that. Connections to ancestors, big time. So if you haven't connected, seek to connect and do it carefully. Maybe this is the time to ask Joshua, can you hook me up with one of your mans in them, one of your 13 decipherers? Because there's no disciples, there's all decipherers. There's no time for a disciple. It's time for a decipherer. And we're not dealing with the number 12, we're dealing with the number 13 now. Going forward, this is dealing with resurrection and or going down into the ashes. But that's another story. Anyway, connections to ancestors and angels, it says, ascended masters and deities. So whatever cultural worship forms that you have and you're dealing with deities, if those deities are seated at the round table, the intergalactic, interdimensional Ark of the Covenant, which, stick with the channel, it's coming in shortly. It's coming in its own timing, the blueprint of the Ark of the Covenant. If those deities, that culture, And there are a lot of pantheons already seated, already taking the place, and there's more to come. Pantheons that we know from Earth and off-world as well. Okay, so if you're already in connection, if you're already rocking with Ogun and Oya, hey, they're more turned up than ever before. You sit at that Ark of the Covenant, that table, you are turned up. So even the Orishas are turned up. Gods and goddesses are turned up. Father Wrath, right, is God of gods, but God of gods. So if your evolution brings you to, if you're still here in the physical form, Empress Goddess or Emperor God, you know that because you've been attacked like a motherfucker. And you have been awakened out of cryostasis. Hello, how are you? Welcome to the real world, right? I wouldn't trade this for the world. I know I'm talking to Magi. I know I'm talking to alchemists, high priests and high priestesses. What's up? Right? Let's wrap this up, y'all, because we have part 1 already. It says, please see at the bottom of it, it says, please see Series B2 for additional contributions. So also, B1s and B2s, you can see that there's a very consistent, it's two separate, but yet at the same time, very complementary. Very complementary. It's meditation and Akashic Records. Of course, it'll be very complementary. Goes hand in glove. The water element is important, but if you're not living, if you're living in dry terrain, that's fine. More hydration instead of dehydration. More hydration. Maybe a water fountain at the doorway of your home if it's feng shuied properly. You don't want a fountain in your home and placed in the wrong place. Place in the right place, it will bless the chi energy, that universal energy that enters into your home. It'll refresh it and keep it flowing throughout all the different compartments of your home. The natural layout that overlays whatever blueprint of an apartment or house that you have. There's a feng shui to it, and it has all the different aspects of 3D life, career, health and family, helpful people in travel, your reputation, your partnerships, you know what I'm saying? So even self-cultivation. So having a water fountain in your home is really nice to get the chi energy to flow through all those different areas that impact that aspect of your life, your career, you need to have your home or your sanctum blessed. You have to. And there's a heavy emphasis on that for I think for everybody, but it's really serious for Series B2. Okay, so these were the 3 cards, and then I used the career cards to really break down. So you have freedom, you have this flow, enlightenment. I recommend, if you haven't read it already, Celestine Prophecy. The Mayans had 9 insights in particular. There's more than that, but the first 9 insights are in that book, Celestine Prophecy. You can watch the movie, you can read the book, but there's a part where I think they get up to like the 6th or 7th. I mean, it might have been the 7th, probably the 7th or 8th insight, where, especially in the movies, but in the booklet, as you read it, you can, you're having the same experience of the protagonist, right? And it gets to a point that he comes to a fork in the road, or not really, because you don't really see a road here, but he was in Peru, and he was running from, a lot of, political unrest that was going on, because they didn't want, whatever politics was going on inside this book and in the movie. But also they didn't want those 9 insights, which is actually true. So the movie is, to depict or illustrate how these insights work. But these insights were provided by the Mayans for real, for us now, from 2012 onward, because 2012 onward was the first time that Earth would ever, and the only energy Earth will ever know going forward, is a 5 vibration. Before 2012, it was always either 22-4 or 31-4. The 31-4 was like more primitive, Stone Age, prehistoric, But a 22-4 is advance and usually followed by a cataclysm, which will now provide us a 31-4, where it's now primitive again. So we've only ever known a 4, and then the 4 happens to be a distorted emperor energy because it didn't have the balance of having the empress energy right side by side. All we ever heard was Father God. Now it's Father and Mother God. It's wrath, and then it's doom, Van Doom. Get it, girl. Get it, girl. Okay, well, sis, I should say. Mother God, I call her sis. Because I can. Because we go way back. We ancient. Techions ago. We sat down and was like, okay, this is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to do it. Okay, cool. Got it. Boom. Now she's doing her thing. And this is where I'm like, she got a lot on her plate, Mama God. So I'm just like, what can I do? You know? What's my purpose? Because if you're in your purpose, then you helping out Mother and Father God. While they do what they got to do. Everybody got their part to play. Okay? Well, we'll get more into that. So enlightenment and timing. It says it's all in the timing right now. Okay? So you'll know because the timing will be right and the timing will allow for enlightenment. The enlightenment card here is the 19. So I'm getting Leo vibes. I'm getting a lion energy as well. Regal. So whoever I'm addressing right now, you are probably inheriting a space in the Ark of the Covenant. You probably more than likely are a Lion of Judah, whether you're a Leo or not. Or you're protected by the Lions of Judah. But that 19, that sun card, opportunities, very bright and refreshing energy. And you also bring enlightenment to others so that they know the timing and how to flow, how to focus, right? How to make it work, how to transcend, be free flowing. You got to be free flowing. So Aquarius and age of Aquarius - Capricorn is very free flowing and restrictive at the same time, because Capricorn is restriction. Okay, so success is the path you are on will bring you success and prosperity if you just keep going. Lots of little steps take you a long way. You're on track. So in the Celestine prophecy, all they had to do was with the, I think the insight, 7th or 8th insight, they just had to calm down and focus and meditate, basically. Not a om or anything. Just stand there, get quiet, steady your breathing. What path makes sense? What feels absolutely right? It's not, some people might say, don't do that because you might be thinking it's feeling right and, and it'd be the wrong path. Well, then stay in faith, because that it's going to lead you a certain path. If you stay in faith, that energy of faith, that will guide you, that will move you into the right path. You will just be moving forward, facing forward, not obsessed like this asshole here, right? They woke you up. This is your nemesis, not this piece of shit right here. That's their thing. Yeah, I'm going to say piece of shit because that's what it is. A token, okay? Cash this token in, right? So if you're feeling like a token, but you decided because you was not this, didn't know how to get to this point of being a tapped in divine being, so you sit here with your karmic fuckery and you bring us balance. You bring us balance with your chaos, with your obsession, focus. I can't blame you for staring, but that's your problem. You're too obsessed with that. And when you decided to not build on solid ground and sacred ground, and you just like ill-gotten gains, like to bully and be grimy and low vibrational, right? Then you did tap into us, and now you're an abomination with a massive nutsack. And why is your legs wide open? Lots of Queen of Wands energy in reverse, the thought witch, whether it's a male or female in this kind of energy, bothering a male or female in this kind of energy. This is why we need Sirius B1 and 2, because y'all help us a lot when it comes to the shenanigans. Because you leave it up to them, this planet will blow up. cataclysm. You need a planet to have the cataclysm. Leave it to this ninja, and this whole planet will blow up. Okay? Or have a black hole sinking through it, and all of existence is going through. It won't be a cataclysm on Earth. There won't be no Earth. It'll just be a black hole. Leave it up to them. I shouldn't be angry because it's purpose, right? So again, success and moving forward for the Sirius B 1s and 2s, both, right? I'm hearing 1s and 2s. It's okay to look for better work, but be discreet in your search. You need to be aligned with your life purpose to be fully satisfied. Makes sense. Okay, so the number 24 is here. Humanitarian. You're dealing with the 4 energy discipline, found a proper foundation, heart health, the heart chakra. You're dealing with sitting on the cube or your throne, the box. This is Emperor energy, healthy Emperor energy, which is trailblazing energy. So you're gonna blaze the trail that feels the best, the trail of least resistance based on faith. It looks like you don't walk on the beaten path, and sometimes you don't even need to walk on the beaten path because you'll transcend and you'll be flying. That's that Aquarius energy. So you could teach both the Aquarius and the Capricorn energy, because the age of Aquarius Capricorn is dealing with flight. And us Capricorns, we don't mind walking through, I'm Capricorn, we don't mind walking through something like this. Beautiful, very earthly. But Capricorn, it's about structure. We rule the skeleton. So for this age, it's about the skeleton, the structure. Okay? So look with faith, the breathing, sanctum, quiet, ask for confirmation, and then move forward. Or if you're moving in faith, you'll be moving and don't even realize it. You're just moving forward. Everything is just opening up accordingly. And the path of least resistance means you're not in the wrong place, wrong time, which means you're out of sync. And you might be the problem. You might be like, people don't like me here. I don't really get along. I don't really fit in, because you're not supposed to be there. You gotta go where you're supposed to go. But it's not in vain. You got what you needed. Now it's time to get on from over there. Okay? Wherever the fuck you at. Come up from around there. If you have some ugly duckling thing situation going on, that's because you ain't no duck. Okay? Get your swan ass over here with the rest of the swans. Okay? Come up over here. It's all regal and flying shit. Come up over here. You got the 13 energy. Rebirth, death, and then rebirth. Death and then resurrection. The 13 is no longer just death. It's resurrection. It's immortality. But you need, in order to have immortality, you have to have mortality. The balance of both. The balance of both. Also with that 24, that's atomic number. The atomic number, the number of the atom is the 2-4. So there's a level of evolution as you move forward. You evolve as you move forward. You know, everything is energy. The atom is energy, but it will, you know, a table is energy, is that type of energy. You know what I'm saying? You're Sirius B2, and you're that kind of energy. That energy is going to resonate in the physical. So a Sirius B2 in the human experience, irregardless of what earthly race, that energy of Sirius B2 shows up in the facial features, how you sound, the patterns, the contributions that your point of origin or your DNA signature group provides. So you also will evolve as well. Your atom, you change the energies of your atom, you're going to change everything. You change your environment and you're a product of your environment, then you're going to change. You know, so we get the point on that, okay? So with the freedom, it says, now peep this, expression, this card here, expression. This is the career and life oracle, y'all. It says expression, you need work that lets you express your creative self. You could do well in writing, blogging, or career and communications. Any Sagittarius in this point of origin, great for teaching and publishing. If you have strong Sagittarius placements, like say you have Sagittarius in Mars, and it's in your like your first house or some shit like that, like go ahead and write. Go ahead and write, do your own thing. There's a level of entrepreneurship that's important. But writing, Susan L. Taylor, when she writes, she channels, you're in the ether spinning a mighty thought with that pen, with that tool, with that paper. So whatever you're going to put on that paper, whether it's a business plan or an actual book, a curriculum for a whole new type of school, like the music, you write, your composer, you write the music, you write the movies, you write the scripts. You know what I'm saying? You any kind of planning, anything with that hand is on, with the pen, or if you're digital with it. Either way, okay? So bottom of the deck energy, but it still applies. It's saying invest in your education, right? Invest in your education and make some big plans for the future. Take calculated risk, but save something to fall back on. So they want forward movement in this read. Spirit is channeling, the other side is channeling forward movement, and your forward movement will be very magical and majestic. It's a different type of horsepower. You're dealing with the unicorn. Let me tell you, I astral project in Zion, and there's one unicorn that I'm able to interact with. So I consider her my unicorn, right? And I remember I didn't realize this, right? And this is earlier on when my mediumship really began, and I'm interacting and astral projecting to Zion so much that I'm skin and bones, and I'm about to leave. I'm about to actually pass over. I didn't understand that. I didn't have the sensei I have now, right? Got to have that sensei. So, that's why I keep very grounding carnelian and sunstone. I keep grounding crystals, black tourmaline. I am O negative, so I do need to have a certain amount of protein. I went vegetarian. That was great for certain things, but for the long run, for the long haul, for my iron count, things like that, meat was just the best choice. The other protein alternates wasn't going to work for me, okay? So I had to do that. I know also another person who's not Sirius B. I gotta really recollect his DNA group, but he was full, strong, no joke, vegan, vegetarian for years. Then he had eczema, and the eczema ravished his body, and he almost died from it. Okay, that's a serious ass disease when it's like a wildfire. It's heartbreaking. So he had no choice, and I remember seeing him, and I thought he looked different. It was discolored, and the texture of his skin. I was like, oh my God, it looked like the skin was about to rip too. It's terrible. Then I saw him again, and then I was just saying, hey, you look different. You look good. What's going on? He said, I have to eat meat now. I'm like, get the hell out of here. Vegetarian? Vegan? You? Meat? He said, I had no choice. I almost died. I'm O positive. Some shit like he was breaking it down about how being an O, a universal blood type, he couldn't go without meat. And then I started to research about that. I was like, oh shit. That happened to me in a different way. So I get it. Okay. So, horsepower. I went over and I meditated over astral project, and I decided to, because the unicorn was receptive, I mounted the unicorn and went in a direction that the unicorn was taking me. Then I was told, get off. Where's you going? That unicorn, she took it as, oh, you don't want to exist in the way that you exist anymore? She wasn't just going to take me from Earth and bring me to Zion. She was going to take me away from all of that. I might have been a tree on a different planet somewhere. That's what she would have done for me. Like, are you that tired? You don't want to exist anymore? Okay, let me take you here. I'm like, oh, no, that's not what I snapped up out of that. I'm like, girl, bye. I snapped up out of that meditation, that astral projection, brought my ass right on back over into Brooklyn. I was like, homegirl's going to take me into oblivion. This is a different type of horsepower. Not to say that you see the unicorn that you're about to die and cease to exist. I just feel like she could take you way further than you realize. So let that translate. Practical terms. This is a 9 energy. Solace, solitude. And then you see the light coming out from around her. Your solar plexus. That's that Virgo vibe, right? You tap into your solar plexus to manifest what you need, and it will take you magically very, very far. Different type of horsepower. I big up to all horsepower. But this is a different, this is quantum energy here. This is something else. I'm still trying to understand the unicorn energy. And also you come off as a unicorn too. Your energies come off as a unicorn. This flight, there's interdimensional travel and movement here. There's practical movement, and then there's very ethereal, surreal movement. Then there's the 9 vibrations going on around here. So, and new beginnings. So new beginnings, humanitarian efforts, always, that you can't even help that. Yeah, that's who y'all are. Take care of the solar plexus. When you're doing your annual physical, look at your blood workup and see what you're deficient in. A lot of us are normally deficient in D3, especially if we're in the Northeast, irregardless of what earth race we're in, whether we're white or black or Asian, Spanish, it doesn't matter. Take some D3, talk to your doctor about it. But when you get your blood work, it will say you're going to need some type of D3. And the deficiencies, go research that. I'll get my blood work done, but let me see what it looks like to be deficient in calcium, to be deficient in D3, deficient in B vitamins, because of the way my diet might be at this time. Okay, so watching out for the diet, parenting oneself. You parent others, but you got to be parented by you, and that'll be a catharsis. That'll be a very healing situation if you've had some low life parenting that you grew up with. Not people, parents, they're not perfect, do the best they can. We're not talking about that. We're talking about people who should never, ever be parents. Ever. Okay? Be parents. They had a unicorn, what they do with it? They had a unicorn, they had a light being. And what did they do with it? It's one thing to have to work 2 jobs just to make sure your child has food. And then you regret not really being there like that. You want to hug your kid. You want to be there with your child, but you have to provide. We're not talking about that. We're talking about when you are there being a whole fucking dickhead, when you're selfish, when you don't grow up, when you're immature, grimy, low vibrational, wicked, and always straight up evil, no chaser, just pure evil, uncut. Any of the Sirius B's coming from Sirius B 1 or 2, parent yourself. Mother yourself, father yourself. Bless up yourself. That's what you're doing. And you're a unicorn. They didn't know how to treat you. They weren't a unicorn. And they might have been this. And they're looking at a unicorn like, who the fuck are you? You think you all of that? How many times have y'all been asked that? I bet you think you are the shit. You better than it. And it's just like, or maybe you just think that. And you know what, to tell you the truth? When you pass the age, when you're an OG like me, when you pass the age, when you hit 50 and you go and forward, if you haven't already, you will at this point say, I don't give a fuck what your opinion is. Before that, I would have been like, oh my God, their opinion, it has value, it weighs, it has an impact. They have projected their bullshit on me, and I'm over here owning it because I'm too immature and I'm in fucking cryostasis, so I'm karmic. I flutter and flicker any kind of divinity, and I'm abused. Now I'm like, I wish a motherfucker would. Think they could abuse me. Zion, avenge! All of a sudden, you got Archangel Michael Elohim coming through with that damn sword. Tupac would be like, oh, what's up? I'll be like, yo, Pac, they bugging over there, son. Pac would be like, well, let me go and see what I could do. Like Stewart from Mad TV. Look what I can do. I gotta do a special just on Tupac. And now he cutting up over there. He wilding out that round table, child. He tearing shit up on this planet. You ain't seen shit yet on this planet where Pac got ready for the status quo. The powers that be. Yeah? Slave planet, my ass. It's going to be something very, very different as we continue to move on with evolution. And Sirius B 1 and 2 off world, I'm pretty sure they're assisting with that, or they did what they needed to assist. And I think the biggest thing was to protect us from what a solar flare could do and take out this whole planet. Okay, so that's it for B2, and hopefully for the B1s who have, tuned in as well, because I think both DNA groups should be checking out each other's video for sure. But thank you for tuning in. There'll be more. And again, just to reiterate this, spiritual burp. Oh, excuse me. It says investment in your education and make some big plans for the future, whether it's education via getting degrees or other forms of education. Knowledge is power. So empowering yourself, invest in that. Taking a course, getting certs, get your certifications on top of your degrees, or write 50 books. That's all the degrees you need if the books are selling, popping, right? You're not going to be writing those books without learning. You're teaching, but you'll be learning, and absorbing knowledge, power that you'll share with others and find a way to impact others. But you have to heal. You have to be mindful of the jealous. That's what I'm hearing. You have to be mindful. This is why this is the star piece that was put up today. You have to be very careful of part of life that must be there. The opposing energies always have to be there. So there will be an opposing energy. We can get angry about it. There's wrath of God going on about it. There's doom, Van Doom, Mother God coming through with it. But on a calmer day when we are at peace and quiet, nothing is in vain. Nothing's in vain. Now we are woke. And I'm not talking about hashtag woke. I'm talking about coming out that cryostasis. That's a deeper, to me, when I hear, oh, you're out of cryostasis? Yes, that right there. I don't want to hear, oh, the hashtag woke. Nah, you out of cryostasis? Yeah. All right, Morpheus. All right. Okay, Trinity. Okay. That's where we at with this level of evolution. And on that note, please subscribe, click the like button if you can. I'd appreciate it, just to get this message flowing. This is new data, new information. It's exciting. Whether I got 5 views or not, I love doing what I do. How about you? All right, now, take care.